All right. Okay. So today was the graduation of my oldest boy again in sixth grade. He graduated sixth grade in elementary school in Japan the end of March, and he graduated today. The last 5 weeks of the school year here again as a sixth grader. And he made friends with his classmates. His teacher was absolutely amazing. Apparently, she's been through a lot this year. A lot has been happening to her. She had to leave for a few times, and I guess she's just a great person. And she emailed all the parents and said that this is the bunch of kids that this class was her favorite in about the past 30 years of school, of education, of teaching. And I was like, 30 years? Like, she looks really young. I mean, yeah. But yeah, my boy, my first boy, he makes me proud every time because he's a person with great heart and he's a person of integrity and tender heart, and he's a good leader, and he's thoughtful and kind. But they all my kids are. But so today it was actually very different from the super formal and down to perfection Japanese ceremonies that I've been observing for years. This was half of it, if not. Anyways, they received their stuff one by one, but graduation stuff. But like they sang songs, and they had like 5 kids coming up in the front reciting a poem that was pretty much explaining what they were learning this past year. And the person behind the piano, he was great. He was playing like jazz music and some kind of soft music while they were taking their graduation papers one by one. It was really great, and they had like a really nice slideshow of all the kids and pictures of them and their names, and there was my boy's name and pictures of him, and I was like, oh my goodness, his name was on the the graduation paper, everything. So I think for me it was emotional because I see every graduation not just as my kids' graduation, not just as a mom, but I see it as from the side of the teacher. And I observe the teachers and how much effort and how many hours of practice and planning they have been doing and all that to make it be like this. Like what their musical numbers were really great. I mean, they played the ukulele and were singing a song, and it was a really nice song about leaning on someone when you need help or whatever. It was a really good message. And so I was impressed. My boy was playing the ukulele as well. I was like, wow, that's a good job. And he learned a lot of things. He visited a planetarium. They did a lot of things at school that were really fun. And mostly there will be some kids going to different junior high schools, but most of them are going to go with where he's going. So it's going to be fun to have some faces that are familiar, and especially in the neighborhood they will have lots of play dates together. And I didn't even, when I came home, because I'm so focused on him and like taking pictures of his friends and like saying hi to his friends, and I didn't realize, like all kiddos were allowed to have 4 tickets. And so for Yamato, for my son, it was We were two adults and two little babies, his brother and sister, the twins. And so we every, I guess, kid has like a mom and a dad and a grandma and a grandpa, something like that. Or like sometimes could be like siblings, parents and two siblings or something like that. But it didn't even occur to me the fact that, you know, my kiddo was just with a mom and his brother and sister, and maybe he didn't mention anything about it. Like he was just really happy to be with his friends, and I was thinking, even when I was in Japan and those ceremonies and stuff, I feel exactly the same thing every time I was for my kids when I go to their graduations and stuff. It's just I'm by myself always, because that's a tendency. It's like with the big huge difference that while in Japan I was just kind of like on the side, like just spending time with my kids and other people, socializing with other people. In Japanese, at least here, I could talk to people, and I could meet with his friends and talk to them and to take pictures together of them, and it was just really great. And there was one specific kiddo that he's good buddies with my boy, and his grandparents came to me and they were like, well, we heard a lot about this young man and we expect him to be in our house a lot in the summer. And I was like, yeah, and also your grandson can come over too as well. And it was just really great because they said, we heard a great lot about this young man. so, and so I was like, yeah, I heard the name of your grandson as well. But it was just really fun to see people being able to communicate messages to me and I understand and respond. And there's like this connection between people. That is something I have lacked for at least 10 or 11 years of my life. I have been so used to just stay in the corner and observe people talking and laughing and exchanging messages and blah, blah, blah. And I just, with my kids, it's insane. And I don't miss that, not a thing. And it was just really great to, like, people here don't really stay and communicate so much. Like, they will just talk, exchange few phrases, and they will just rush home or like go somewhere, eat and celebrate. And they did their goodbyes, the kids, among themselves with messages and stuff like that, like signing each other's papers and like writing their phone numbers at home so they can have like planned time to play together or whatever. But it was just great that if I could and I wanted to talk to somebody, I could go and do it. Like I could say to his teacher, thank you for everything. I could understand everything they were saying during the ceremony and the songs they were singing. It was just really great. And it made me feel like it doesn't matter if I'm here or in the North Pole or in Africa or in Australia or anywhere in the world. It will be just the same like it was in Japan. Just with or without the spouse, I always feel like I'm by myself. So I don't really think or about it, or like I'm not sad about it, or it's not like something to put me down or to make me feel different from other families. It's just I have my great kids and my life is centered on them and their future and their well-being. And kids in general, like I really like I'm starting to really fall in love with this teaching experience and learning how to be teaching and learning about the education as a system and as an entity in the States, and history and everything. And some things are heartbreaking to learn about. I had no idea. But some things are just really helpful. And the methods that we learn, pedagogy and everything is just great. I love it. I love being in my classes. I love doing my papers. And even if it's difficult, some words I don't understand, it's just part of learning. We are going to learn. Like, my kiddos have to work really hard on their writing and reading skills this summer so they can, especially my first boy going to junior high, he's going to have to work hard to catch up with the rest. And junior high is fun. But yeah, we'll have to work hard. All of us are students, and it's so fun. At least they have summer vacation. I don't. But it will be great. And they are my strength and my everything. They are my reason to just keep going and learning and growing and supporting each other and feeling alive, feeling like you're somebody, or like you've got a chance to be somebody, not like thrown somewhere, neglected, and be told suck it up and get used to it and whatever, just like a slave. I'm learning a lot about slavery that happened here with African American people, and I read about it, and there are different levels of slavery and the term of it, and there's a lot of people dealing with the same kind of stuff, even if it's not like recognized by society or media. There is a lot of people silently, quietly surviving day by day, feeling trapped and without a chance to escape from it. And so my personal goal as a whole is like to help students, children, to find their core values, to work on them, and to develop love and excitement for learning, for studying, and continue to develop and not just like be done with junior and high school, or like drop out from high school and go work. Or I'm not saying like college is the only way, because there are people who are brilliant minded and they never went to college and whatever. But what I'm saying is, since we live in a money driven world, it's a benefit for each person to learn and to study and to continue to develop mental skills and physical abilities, and like just learning. And my goal is that children don't just get stuck into, I'm not enough of this, I'm not good enough at that, and I'm not loved by anybody. It's just it's difficult. But and everybody's in different circumstances, different background, different culture. Even in this country, so many different cultures, and the state has so many languages and cultures, but mainly Spanish. And I learned a lot of terminology about like Hispanic people, all kinds of different people. Like there is a multiracial category where, you're not only from one race, but like several. Like my kids are like half Caucasian, half Asian, and not like both parents are, say, refugees from Ukraine or something like that. It's not like that. My kids are like two different races, and it's really cool. I learned a lot of new terminology, but what I learned the most and what I enjoy the most is this chance to, oh, I don't know how to explain it. Like, if you were trapped and enslaved, and it's like if you feel like you don't even know who you are, and it's like you're like cracking that shell, and now you're starting to observe the world with the different eyes, and like learning about the world, but like also wanting help, it that helps you to find yourself in it and develop the skills that you want to work on, and just focus on the self, and no focus finding that self somewhere. Because when you're a mom, you don't have time for that. No, you don't have time for that. I don't know how people have like kids and still have the manicures and the hair done, and the makeup and all that. I don't know how they do it. But you somewhere along the way, from diapers and feeding and laundry, and you just forget who you are and what you like and what you want to do. And when you're given that chance in life to do it, it's like I fully embrace it. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that life sometimes turns in ways where you have to shut a door, lock it up, erase it, just block it somewhere, and open a new door where you can actually feel like people treat you like a person, and people value your opinion when you express it in class, and people say thank you for your comments, or that's a nice input. And it's good to know from how it works in different countries. When I have for example, share an experience from my classrooms when I was teaching English in Japan. And so out of a sudden, it's like you feel like you're talking to people, connecting with people, making new friends with the classmates, and they're great ladies. They're all gonna be great teachers as well, and it's just amazing. And I don't want to keep that long because I have to go to bed, because tomorrow's another long day, and I have a class tomorrow. So, and I'm grateful for my friend who gave me this blanket that I brought all the way to here from Japan. It's Star Wars blanket. I use it at work in the winter, and I brought it here because here in the houses, as much as like central heating in the cold, it's cold. It's really cold for me, so I use blankets a lot. But yeah, and the weather here is very interesting. Like, I didn't know it can be sunny and wonderful and blissful day, and then in the afternoon, like towards dinner time, it's like thunderstorm. Like out of the blue, there's a thunderstorm. That's really cool, I think. And the kids love. Well, first few times they were scared, but now it's like, it's not a thunderstorm. So lots of rain comes, and then you can see the sky being lit. It's really beautiful, especially when you're inside. It's really beautiful to watch. And I had the chance to go last Friday to the temple. And that was like the best birthday present I could ever ask for. That was like the best, because it was just so amazing. I love the temple, and it's peace I cannot find anywhere else. Maybe nature, but not as much. Well, nature gives me energy and lifts my spirit, but when you're in the temple, it's like you're reminded of your divine nature, and I love the temple. It's been, I don't know how many years ago since I was in the temple, and I just wanted to cry the entire time, because I was just so happy to be inside there. And yeah, I was just reminded of who we really are, and why we're here on this earth, and how to keep going. And I'm grateful for wonderful, wonderful, wonderful church leaders and friends in church, and my kids having friends who go to church together with them, but also at school or together. and I really love it when the boys have their young men activities once a week, and it's just something I wish they grew up with, but I'm grateful they have the chance now to do the same thing. And anyways, I'll keep this to 20 minutes. Bye.